Hello, Renee Flamond here. You guys, today's topic was brought to us by a viewer, and she asked that I cover the topic of how we become hyper vigilant when being involved with a narcissist. It takes over our life. We are investigating, we're spending all our energy. And let me get the comment is short. It was under video 577. Nikki Be Nice says, love your vids. Have you done a video on hypervigilance? Like looking for things to validate our suspicion and reality. This is so vital to cover. I moved it up. I actually moved things out of the way to make this happen sooner, as soon as I could after I had already filmed out. I detested myself during that process. And I know a lot of you have experienced the same thing. When you're checking the phone, okay, let's break this down. The hypervigilance comes from you were betrayed. So now you don't trust them, right? I heard Dr. Phil once say to a couple, it was a woman and a man had cheated, and Dr. Phil said, I don't watch him a lot, but I had seen this one, and he said, she has a right to check your phone for as long as she needs to before she trusts you again. That's what he said. In a healthy relationship, as they're navigating and it's non-disordered and someone stepped out, okay, I can maybe see that, but that is not how I want to live my life. When I was in the thick of it, and I'll use my own experience, I was an insane person. I'm not embarrassed to say it because I've talked to many of you and you've all been there. When I found myself, he's sleeping and I'm grabbing his phone and I'm spending time going through his phone. That's something I would never do to somebody. I won't pick up anybody's phone. It's like picking up somebody's pocketbook and looking through it. It's a very personal thing. Now, some people say, well, if there's nothing to hide, you shouldn't. No, I understand that. And anyone can look through my phone because that's how I agree with you. Yes, I do. What I'm trying to say is because we all get into that position. While you're doing that and sweating it, or he's out somewhere and you're nervous, I've gotten into the car and sped to the location. Sped to the location. I want you to understand where that was for me and where I am now. And I want you to know you can get here. It's blissful. When you're in the hypervigilant stage, everything is sensitive. Everything is sensitive. Well, I'm going from here to there with the guys. I thought you were coming home. No, I'm not. You get in your car, you drive over. You pick up his phone, you're looking through it. You're spying. You're looking for receipts in his pocket. We all become private investigators because you've been betrayed and you're on the lookout for something else. I want to know, now that I look back in, I'm fascinated that I did that. If I was ever in that situation, I would say, go ahead. And if I didn't feel right about it, or I knew it was up to no good, I just wouldn't let him back in my life after his night out, going from place to place to place. Or if something fishy happened, usually the first time you grab somebody's phone, it's because they acted weird, you know something's up, you can smell it, their day didn't add up the way it should have, they're coming out with one plan after another plan after another plan, trying to explain away why they've been gone 7 hours, and you get suspect, their behavior is off kilter, and so you pick up their phone that first time. And then that first time you find something makes you look the second time, the third time, and that's it. Now you're in. You're looking all the time. I want to ask you in the camera, because I wish I asked myself this. Is that the life you want for yourself, and why do we do it? Now, I've thought this through, and my answer at the time would have been, but I love him. He said he loves me. We said we were going to work it out. Okay, so what are you going to do when you find ugly stuff? You're going to fight about that, be sad about that. What I'm trying to say is that is not a healthy place to be ever at any point in the relationship. The hypervigilance should not be part of a personal relationship. Period. Period. I know many honorable men, and I hope you do too, whether it's your brother or your father or your grandfather. And think about if the woman attached to them, or, man, woman, we don't pronoun change it as you wish. But think of if their partner of the good person that you know had to be hypervigilant like that. You can't even picture the partner being like that. The good people that I know that have solid partners, the partners are relaxed. They're joyous. They're not nervous. Their spouse or partner goes out without them, they're fine. They go away on vacation, no thoughts. Their phone is sitting there, but they would never touch it. They don't need to. And then somebody again says, but if they didn't need to, then what's the problem? The problem is it's a mistrust. Once you ruin trust, it's very hard to get back. And with a narcissist with this personality disorder, they are untrustworthy people in their bones, right? And Nikki mentions in her comment, talk about our reality, right? That's what she says. It's about talking about our reality, looking for things to validate our suspicion and reality. Our suspicion is our perception. Well, you've heard before, perception is reality. So if you're going through the motions of doing the hypervigilance and the private investigation, that is your reality, is you're a wreck. Your reality is they're cheating. Now, some of you might say, well, some people are paranoid and he really wasn't doing anything. And I knew my friend and she was doing that to him and he was a good guy. That can happen. If somebody is scarred from one of these relationships, they can go forward and have trust issues. That's why I always recommend getting yourself healed before you move on, okay? But when your reality is twisted up from the narcissist and you can't trust anything that's happening, think about if that's what you want for your life, because that is not going to change. Not with a person like this. Their behavior is never going to do a 180 and get well. They're going to suddenly see the light. No, they're not going to see the light. And they're not going to see the light no matter who they meet. And we're going to talk about this the rest of the week in different angles. But I want you to understand that you are not alone. When you become a private investigator, every single one of us did it. And I touted that I would never be the person to check someone's phone. Not in 1,000,000 years. I was married. It's been a long time. I've been divorced now 18 years. I never once felt I needed to pick up my husband's phone, ever. Why? Because he was a trustworthy individual. Trustworthy individual. That wasn't our issue. If that is ever an issue again, I got in my car and sped driving to the location. Why? What did I think I was going to do when I got there? What did I think I was going to find? Did I want to find it really? Is the truth better than being suspicious? You might say, well, yes, now I know. Okay, now you know. You knew before. You knew before all the effort. You knew before all the spying. You knew before checking for receipts. You knew before checking his phone. Intuition is the voice of God, the universe, whatever you believe in. And I'm not saying, again, I understand some people can carry something from the past and be in a paranoid state, and maybe they have a good guy and their behavior leaks in, and that can cause problems. I'm saying, if you have found something already, you guys have already been through this, you know what kind of cat's in front of you. You know they're not trustworthy. They don't suddenly become trustworthy. They don't suddenly have some kind of epiphany where suddenly they're going to outgrow narcissistic personality disorder and be monogamous and true and stop playing around or stop. Even if it's flirtatious texting, that's going to bother you. And you are going to find it. You are going to find it somewhere. They'll hide it. They'll do it in WhatsApp. That's that app, right? They'll not maybe do it in text. They'll have other ways to do it. They'll clean out their phone. They'll try to delete pictures. They'll try to delete their evidence of being on a dating site while you're dating them. That happened to me. He was on the dating site next to me doing this with his phone. But at the time, I wasn't being hypervigilant. I wasn't in private investigator mode. We were new then. And I would see him on his phone and I didn't wonder. Now I know exactly what he was doing. Why? Because one time he showed me, triangulating me, saying, look, all these girls are emailing me. I don't know what this is. It was a dating app. He was trying to act stupid, saying his friends set it up. Are you out of your mind? And what did I do for the next year and a half? Made myself crazy. Being hypervigilant. Save yourself the time, effort, and energy. And just, I'm telling you, I don't tell anyone to leave. But if that's the place you are in, you deserve more than living in that ugly place. Let yourself not do that. And let him and her, or whatever the pronouns are, have each other. Because you deserve better. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you for watching, you guys.